Honorific and dear fellow Earthlings, greetings. The title of my video today is, Are there 4 fatal mistakes in the human race? I was inspired to ask this question by the following logic of thought. This logic of thought consists of 3 sentences. 1. How to recognize and reform society. Humans can never be God or gods, can never be omniscient or omnipotent. Humans will always have ignorance, prejudice, mistake, or stupidity that we do not realize. 2. Hundreds of years ago, mankind has been saying, scientific knowledge is power. But ignorance, prejudice, mistakes, or stupidity is a far greater power in the damage they can do to all the people of this planet. Ignorance can not only destroy countless lives and treasures, but it can also create human tragedies out of nothing. For example, Mao Zedong launched the Great Leap Forward, leading to 3 years of national famine, and the Cultural Revolution, leading to the unnatural deaths of 2 million or 20 million people. 3. Although mankind can never know and eliminate all ignorance, prejudice, mistake, or stupidity, if human beings want to avoid human-made great disasters and human-made common destruction, as much as possible, the nations of the world, or all the people of the earth, should always think, what fatal ignorance, prejudice, mistake, or stupidity exists in mankind at present? The above 3 sentences can be reduced to 3 phrases. 1. Human beings will always have ignorance of what they do not know. 2. The power of ignorance is terrible. 3. Humans should always ask themselves, what are the fatal ignorances of the present? My thinking and research indicates that humans at least have the following 4 fatal mistakes or ignorances at present. The first fatal mistake is that the widespread and regular use of deadly violence in response to conflict when it is no longer necessary. On the face of the earth, there is only one irreconcilable violent conflict that must be fought to the death, and that is in the animal food chain, like the relationship between the lion and the antelope. The strong don't hunt the weak. The strong would starve to death. And the weak don't run away or doesn't fight back. They're just going to get eaten. All other violent conflicts where you have to fight to the death are not necessary. They are the sign of ignorance and stupidity. Because using violence to deal with conflicts can only hurt each other and even destroy them together. Due to the extreme scarcity of material for survival in the early stages of human evolution, there were irreconcilable conflicts that necessitated fights to the death with each other. But when mankind learned to cooperate with each other in a highly complex way and created many times more material to survive than to destroy each other, humans no longer had to fight each other to the death, but mankind has not changed this bad habit of dealing with conflicts with deadly violence. 2. Humans are not completely rational animals, and not all of us are smart enough to control our emotional impulses. So humans can never completely eliminate all violence. What humans should and could do is, most people in most situations do not use violence in response to conflict. In order to greatly reduce the number of violent acts and the degree of harm they cause. This is similar to the establishment and enforcement of traffic rules. Although not everyone obeys the rules of the road at all times, at least most people follow the rules of the road most of the time and maximize the benefits for all. 3. If human beings not only don't have a conflict where they have to live and die, but also have a common goal of sustainable survival and making life better, This discovery also means discovering the possibility that human society can become much better and much lovelier than it is now. 4. If mankind were to use competitions, like the scientific bragging contest, to find solutions to conflicts and public problems, the various conflicts and social problems that currently exist in human society, which would not be a bad thing, but rather there are many opportunities to turn the bad things into the good ones. It will enable human beings to develop social civilization 3 times as efficiently as it is now. That is to say, from 1 to +2. Humanity's second fatal mistake is that almost all Earthlings share a common blind spot of awareness that often causes serious results. This huge blind spot is that almost all people on Earth don't realize that their views on social problems and conflicts are just the result of the blind men touching the elephant. While each person's viewpoint has some basis in fact and some truth to it, each person has a cognitive blind spot that he or she is unaware of. Ignorance, prejudice, mistake, or stupidity. Almost everyone see their own blind spots or seriously one-sided or even erroneous views as absolutely correct and use it to make decisions and interactions with people, including nations. So the attitude that I am right, you are wrong, makes a lot of problems that shouldn't happen to be widespread and frequent and massive, from family, partisan, ethnic, religious, and national conflicts. As a result, conflicts and problems abound. All the mistakes of authoritarian dictators in human history fall into this category, such as Hitler's launching of World War II, Saddam's invasion of Kuwait, Putin started the Russian-Ukrainian war. Countless facts show that the ignorance, prejudice, mistakes, and stupidity of authoritarian dictatorships are the root cause of the greatest evils to the greatest number of people. Authoritarian dictatorships do not allow the people the freedom of speech and the press. There is only one mind and one voice in the country. The suppression and brutal persecution of political dissidents. It's a barbaric and stupid system that protects ignorance and indulges it. The time has come for mankind to completely destroy tyrannical dictatorships. See my 25 video, Is it necessary and possible for mankind to create a reasoning movement to completely destroy dictatorships? The third fatal mistake of humanity is that focusing on superficial problems without focusing on the ideological and the institutional problems behind the superficial problems are leading to double dead knots for all the major problems of mankind today. All the major problems of mankind today have been plunged into an unsolvable dead knots, such as the Russia-Ukraine war, Russia's conflict with NATO and the US, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the US-China conflict, the China's democratic reforms, the Taiwan issue, North Korea's nuclear issue, and so on. It is understandable that most people can't find and put forward the problems behind today's major human problems, but some people have already discovered the problems behind the major problems of mankind, and the vast majority of people are still indifferent to the problems behind the superficial problems. So, the problems facing mankind are into double dead knots. For example, humanity has been holding international conferences on the global environment for decades. Countless books have been published on the subject. Why haven't we been able to find an effective solution? It's because we just talk about the environmental problem itself. We haven't done our best to identify the many problems behind the environmental problems and solve them. The way to solve the double deadlock of human problems could be to invite some of the world's most famous people to answer the questions behind the superficial problems and compete with each other. Or using the celebrity effect to solve the double deadlock. Please see my 9th video for how this works. It's titled as Should Musk and Zuckerberg Have an Ideas Competition? The fourth fatal mistake of the human race is that vast majority of people take a bystander or free rider approach to social issues. The problems of a country are caused directly and indirectly by all the people of that country. Global problems are caused directly and indirectly by all the people of the earth. If the majority of the people do not care about the national and global problems and do not participate in the search for solutions, even if some people have proposed feasible solutions to the problems, the majority people may not understand or agree with the solutions, and the problem will not be solved. As the Swedish investor Laszlo Sombatfalvi pointed out in his book, The Greatest Challenge of Our Time, if you believe that you need not do anything to solve the world's problems, you are one of them. It must be recognized that the vast majority of people have been justifiably unconcerned or free rider about social problems. The fundamental reason for this is that mankind has not been able to create the tools for mass participation in finding solutions to social problems. But now there are the internet and the tool scientific bragging contest. There's no reason that the vast majority of people can't participate anymore. There are solutions to the problems of free rider or bystander. At the very least, the following measures can be taken. 1. Encourage everyone to use the science bragging contest as a tool for identifying and ask questions and find solutions to problems. 2. Reward those who contribute to finding solutions to public problems. Participating in competitions and winning prizes is only one way. A regular selection of winners by the audience could also be a way to do this. 3. Establishment of rules and regulations to penalize those who have been a free rider. For example, they can be called those who take away the fruits of other people's labor and who are not given priority when they need help from the community, and so on. Honorific and dear fellow Earthlings, if you basically agree with my views, please provide additional or modified opinions on them. If you don't agree with my views, please criticize or refute them, and engage me in a public debate and competition. For those who wish to join us in creating Olympic Games of human problems, please send an email to wyatt@fangxinghigmail.com. The next video is titled, Why I Am So Uninformed and Crazy to Worry About the People of the Earth. That's it for today's video. Thank you.